Well, tensions are growing between the United States and Iran as U.S. President Barack Obama steps up defense measures against Iran. The United States sent Patriot defense missiles to Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Kuwait. But that's not all. 2 ships will also be placed in the Persian Gulf. Well, joining us now to talk about missile defense, Lawrence Korb. He is a senior fellow from the Center for American Progress. Lawrence, thanks for being here. So all the headlines read that this is basically U.S. retaliation against Iran, deploying these anti-missile defense elements in the Persian Gulf. Is this a sign that the U.S. has sort of given up on talks with Iran, that it's shifting from diplomacy to possibly some kind of military intervention?
No, these are all defensive weapons, and they're there so that the other countries in the Gulf don't decide to press ahead with their nuclear weapons. The last thing you want is, if Iran continues on the path that it is, that in fact you have a nuclear arms race in that part of the world. And by doing this, they're saying to those countries, you don't have to worry about Iranian nuclear weapons and Iranian missiles, because we'll be here to protect you, and we're also going to give you equipment to protect yourself. But,
normally these plans are sort of discussed in advance, and it seems that, some experts are saying that this was sort of a quick thing, a quick decision. Does this mean that the U.S. is really considering the fact that Iran might attack, and so it has to take every precaution necessary to deter such an attack? I mean, what is the sort of urgency behind this?
Well, first of all, this is not new. The fact of the matter is, when President Obama decided not to put the missiles and radars in Poland and Eastern Europe, because originally that's what they were there for, he said he was going to do this to provide defense against Iranian missiles, because you could get those in more quickly. The other thing that's happened is Iran made an agreement to ship nuclear fuel to Russia and then backed out on it. And so the question is really, what are they up to? So by doing this, I think it will stabilize the situation in Iran, pending what happens in Iran, given the problems that they've had internally since the fraudulent election.
Right, there were a lot of protests there. But the second reason behind this, to quote a source, is an American source, is to reassure the Arab states. Would those missiles be capable of protecting all those countries if something were to happen?
Well, basically, those missiles can shoot down other missiles that are what we call missiles that stay in the atmosphere. They don't go out of the atmosphere and they come down. They work very effectively against those type of missiles, and that's pretty much what Iran might use if they wanted to threaten those countries. They wouldn't have to shoot an intercontinental ballistic missile, because these things are not thousands of miles away; they're hundreds of miles away.
Well, what is the Iranian reaction to all of this?
Well, again, I mean, if Iran is not developing nuclear weapons, then it shouldn't have to worry, because these are defensive systems. They're not offensive systems. They can't cause any problems to Iran. They can prevent Iran from causing problems to other countries.
But that might not be the way that Iran sees it, right? I mean, do they view this as sort of stepping on their toes? I mean, what is the United States doing here? I mean, what has been the reaction to this?
Well, again, they might have that reaction, but it's illogical, because these are not offensive weapons. These are defensive weapons. They can't cause any harm to Iran. They can prevent Iran from causing harms to other people.
You talked about, nuclear negotiations, and I want to sort of bring the conversation back to that as well. I mean, where are we with that? It seems like a lot of back and forth, all these deadlines that have been sort of shifting to later. What's going on with that?
Well, basically, President Obama reached out when he came in, said he would negotiate with Iran without preconditions. They had an agreement in October to ship a lot of the fuel to Russia. Then the Iranians backed off on it. They reneged on the deal. Obama said, if we don't have any progress by the end of this year, which was 2009, they were going to go to the UN for sanctions, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Is that going to be the next step, do you think? I mean, break it down for us. What is going to be the next step in this nuclear saga?
The next step will be, basically, if Iran does not live up to its obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty and allow the International Atomic Agency inspectors back in, then in fact that they will put sanctions on Iranian banks. They'll prevent them from getting refineries to process the oil.
We're going to be watching very closely to see what happens. Lawrence Korb, thank you.